Well, welcome. We have done a lot so far this chapter with looking at data, the distribution of data, and we've been looking at how to study the different statistics and different measures of spread and so on. We've had to do a lot of it by hand, which can be a real pain. Well, guess what? I got some great news for you. Your calculator will do it for you. Now, you might be saying, well, why didn't you show me this before? Well, you had to know how to do it by hand anyhow, because you want to make sure you know how to do it for the test. But there's going to be different situations. We're going to be looking at data, and we're going to have to draw out conclusions based on that data, and it's going to be a real pain to have to do it by hand. So that's why your calculators are going to be a very resourceful tool, especially in the next section that we'll be looking at. So it's important that we know how to use your calculators so you'll be able to do those pieces that we're going to need to. So let's look at how we can do from the previous video, how we can look at how to find the variance and the standard deviation from a set of numbers using your calculator. So it doesn't matter if you have the TI-nSpire CAS, if you have the TI-nSpire just the basic, if you have the color version, doesn't matter what kind of TI-nSpire you have, the process will be the same. So let's look at how to do that. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come to a screen like this. To access a spreadsheet like this, what you do is you go to the Home button, and along the bottom we have these different tabs, these different icons I should say. Right in the middle it looks like a spreadsheet. You want to click on that, and when you do, this is going to be empty, but we're going to be looking at the height. Remember we had those different dolphin heights yesterday. So you can just type in H for height, or if you want to type in height itself, you can do that. And then enter in the following data. So we had 7 numbers yesterday that we looked at, and these were the 7 numbers. We had 70 for the first piece of data, then 71, 71, 73, 74, 75, 78, 79, 79, and 80. So make sure that after typing in that last number that you hit enter so the calculator knows it's been entered in. So if you need to, pause the video and plug those in. Otherwise, here is the next step. The next step, you're going to go over to your calculator and you're going to click on the menu button. If you notice, we have some different options. We're going to go to Statistics, and we're going to go to Stat Calculations. Now, there's a lot of different stat calculations we could use. Now, this is what we call one variable statistics that we're doing right now. So you're going to click on one variable statistics. Where it says the number of lists, just go ahead and hit enter. And go ahead and hit enter again. We're going to put the results in column B, so make sure because we have the numbers that we have listed is in column A, and we're going to list the results in column B, so go ahead and hit OK. And that's what we have. Okay, so let's interpret what we've got here. So this is saying that the number of items in our list is we have 10 of them. This is saying that the minimum value in our list is 70, so we would use this to create a box plot to say the minimum value is 70. Our Q1 is 71. Our Q2 and our median is 74.5. Our Q3 is 79, and our max is 80. So if I needed to make a box plot from that data, that would be all the pieces I would need. Now let's look at what comes next. Now this is giving me the sum of our square of the deviations, which would be 128, which we had from our table. And actually, if I scroll up, we'll get the rest of the information that we need. We have the mean of that data is 75. So if you were to add up all those numbers and divide by how many there are, you end up with a mean of 75. If you just took and added up the numbers, the sum of the numbers is 750. The sum of the numbers squared, that's what this is about. We're not going to use that. This is dealing with the standard deviation based on a sample. Remember yesterday, or in the previous video, we talked about the difference between finding the standard deviation of a sample versus a population. And so in this case here, we're looking at the standard deviation based on a sample. So then you'd have 3.77 if that were the case. And the reason why I know that it's dealing with the samples, we're using a Roman numeral S here. If we're looking at the Greek symbol for sigma, that means that we're basing this information on a population. So if we're looking at the standard deviation using this as a population, we would have 3.58 as your answer. So this would be dividing by n instead of n minus 1. And then, like I said, we had the n and all those. So if we wanted to figure out what the variance is, that's where we'd use the We would use this last number here, the sum of the square of our deviations, the 128, and divide that by 10. That would give us our variance of 12.8. Or, to find the variance, you could take and square, we could square one of these, and that would give us our variance. Okay, so that is basically all you need to know for right now about how to use your calculator. So now you have that, know how to use that great tool of yours. But again, don't just think now that this replaces everything that we've talked about in this chapter. You absolutely need to know how to do this without a calculator as well.